Hello, my name is Andrew, and today we're talking about what I eat in a day after almost 2 years on a raw carnivore diet. So for the most part, I'm still eating the same exact things that I ate when I started out, and generally I eat 2 meals per day, the first one in the morning and then the second one around like 4 or 5 o'clock before I go to bed. And after 2 years, I still haven't eaten any cooked food or prepared recipes. My meal essentially looks like the same exact thing every single day. It's just kind of a stew of a bunch of different organs and meats and fats. And like I've talked about in my other videos, when you get on a diet that's so nutritionally dense like this, you no longer crave snacks or salty things or sugar, and you don't need to prepare meals anymore because it's sort of like just breathing oxygen, you know, like we don't have oxygen meals, we don't have condiments on our oxygen, right? And really the only reason why you would do any of those things, why you need to make your meals feel more fancy and exciting, is because you don't like what you're eating, because it's not giving your body what it needs to function at a high level. Anyways, the main thing I eat is just your basic 80-20 grass-fed ground beef, organic, which is a great source of zinc, protein, and fat. And I pretty much buy everything from Frankie's Free Range because it's all free range, organic, grass-fed, and there's no corn and soy and a lot of the poultry products, and it's just more affordable than pretty much anywhere else that you could order high quality organic food. Generally I'll have about 150 grams of that split into 2 meals, and then if I can get it, I'll have about 100 grams of turkey thigh, which is really good, especially the skin. But one thing new I've introduced recently is raw mackerel. This guy right here, it's basically like salmon, but it has twice the magnesium. So some mackerel has as high as 80 milligrams per 100 grams, and it's really good. It's even richer and more buttery than salmon, but it's still a small fish, so you don't have the worries about heavy metals or plastics that you have with bigger fish like tuna. For fat, I'm still eating beef suet, but I'm eating a lot less than I used to. I used to be eating like 150 grams per day, but for the first time in my life, I actually started building more body fat than I needed, which has never happened to me before. So I just started adjusting my ratio to eat more protein and less fat. But in any case, I'm now at 150 pounds, which is crazy because when I was raw vegan, I was down to around 128, so I gained almost 25 pounds of fat and muscle. And the really crazy thing is that I'm not even working out at all. I just like walk and hike and sometimes trail run, and so all those gains just came from eating food rather than going to the gym. Overall, my favorite raw carnivore food though is still raw liver, and especially fermented liver. I tend to leave it out in a canning jar for a few days and air it, and I just put it back in the fridge once the taste starts to get where I want it, kind of that tanginess. But yeah, another raw carnivore food I added recently is beef lung, which is a good source of lean protein and also connective tissue, and I have about 40 grams of that per day. Then I also have about 20 grams of beef kidney, which is one of the best animal food sources for selenium, which is essential for cancer prevention. Then a couple other things are beef heart. I usually have about 50 grams of that per day. And tendon, which is another new one. It's kind of like chewy, you know? I just sort of cut off a little piece and just gnaw on it like chewing gum for about 15 minutes while I'm preparing my food. And that's also a really good source of connective tissue like lung. So yeah, that's basically what I'm eating in a day. The only other thing that I eat is still coconut. I have about 2 per day. Mainly, I just eat it for the magnesium and the manganese, which are a bit hard to get on an animal-based diet, especially for me because I've always been really sensitive to iodine, so I can't handle egg yolks. I stopped eating those, and I can handle a little bit of iodine from mackerel, but I can't eat anywhere near enough mackerel to get the magnesium I need. So generally what I do with coconut is blend it and then ferment it so it becomes kind of like a kefir, and it reduces the amount of sugar. And if you ferment it long enough, you can get it down to like 5 grams of sugar, so almost nothing. Anyways, that's what I eat in a day on a raw carnivore diet, and honestly, it's like the simplest, most nourishing diet that I've ever been on. That said, in a few months when I get to the official 2-year mark, I'm gonna make a raw carnivore guide for you guys. But in the meantime, if you want a list of what I'm currently eating, I'll put that down below, as well as my other raw carnivore videos. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Peace!